about to catch a freight train out of SLAB City. This is how to do it. There's a lot of downtime catching a freight train, and it's no different here. The freight's pause on this main rail, which is the old Southern Pacific rail that I used to ride every Christmas home to visit my folks in Texas. The trains now pause here once a day. So you're taking your chances. You'll have your backpack, your sleeping bag, your bottle of liquid, and you'll crash here and listen for the noise. You have an automatic alarm clock, which is a click, click, click of the wheels going over the rails. It'll wake you up when the train starts pulling out, or there will be other signs. So I'm going to sit here and wait for this train to start to move. The hard part is already over. The hard part was waiting for a train to stop in SLAB City, that is in Nyland, at the crossing where the track goes across near the trailer park. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the train to move. The trains only stop here, only pause here about once per day, so it's catch as catch can. Now we're going to try to catch this one. We're going to frisk the drag. This is a container train, pure containers. It's a hot shot. It's northbound. It'll go to Indio, on into Colton Yard in San Bernardino, and from there it'll either break up, or more likely this freight will go into the Long Beach unit yard, the container yard. Now we're going to frisk the drag. Yeah. To frisk the drag means to walk the freight train to find a ride. This one is almost all container cars. It's called a unit container train. This freight train is down on its springs. And when I say that, you can get the spring. This freight train is down on its springs, therefore it's loaded. It's probably going to the Long Beach freight yard. So if we can get on this freight train, we'll end up in the San Bernardino Colt Yard, and then another hour to the Long Beach freight yard. I've ridden into that. It's a closed fence facility, but it's not difficult. If you ride into the closed facility, you can always sneak out easily. The hard part is the other way around. If you try to start within a closed facility like a freight yard, then it's difficult. Some of these container flat cars have a floor in them, which is mandatory, just about mandatory, and other ones don't have one. If they don't have one, you got to tie yourself in. I'm going to climb on this container ladder and see if it has a floor in it. This is a bottomless container car, so all I'm looking through at the tracks. I would never, except for in a dire emergency, ride this freight car. This one to my right, first step on the couples. Okay. This is a couple. You can see the couple is tightened like this. That means that it's probably on a downhill to tighten them up. And you never step on that. When you're on a freight train, you always be alert for a sudden movement. And it's like being around a bucking bronco. You have to be aware of the solid objects near you. To step onto. So we're going to frisk the drag, walk the train further. We've got to find one with a floor to ride in. Nothing to sit on. Nothing but rails and railroad ties and cookie cutter wheels. Riding freights is dangerous until you know what you're doing. It's illegal, but people do illegal things every day for adventure. What we're looking for to try to catch a ride is a container with a floor. We've looked at all the different sides. There are 3 different sides on this train. None of the 3 sides have floors in them. Therefore, it's going to be a tough catch. Okay, we've frisked this drag for 20 minutes. It has repeating cars of the same model, that is, repeating flat cars. There are no floors on any of these containers. Therefore, the option is to tie yourself in and try to ride it out. I wouldn't do that in many heartbeats. Or the other alternative is to wait for the next freight out of Slab City. This train is sighted here, this container train, about a mile long. The tail end is at Beale Street, and it extends up to the units, that is the locomotives. There are, I think, 3 of them on the head end. So this train is going to San Bernardino and points beyond. Before it pulls out, or before any train pulls out, there'll be along the rail an electrical click, 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 click. That's your signal that you've got about 1 minute to board the train. By the way, it's difficult and a little bit dangerous. I've had my close calls boarding a moving freight. First sign is a click, click, click. Second sign is the freight train will usually highball. That is, it'll sound its horn a long blast. Then the third sign is you hear a staccato drum beat of the couples, in this case pulling apart, for 1 mile. It'll take a couple minutes because these get going slowly and then they pick up speeds to 65 miles an hour. So once you hear the click, 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 the couples parting and the cannonball, you latch onto a ladder, climb on, or before that, and you're in for your ride of a lifetime.